Hey y'all, here for Loving Hip Hop Atlanta Season 5, Episode 11. Let's get into it. So it starts off where it left off 2 weeks ago. Does anybody know why all of these shows was on hiatus for 2 weeks? Well, not even all of these shows. Does anybody know why Love and Hip Hop and Black Ink Crew was on hiatus for 2 weeks? Because I don't understand it. Nothing, no award show or anything came on that week unless something did and I missed it. I don't know. But I didn't understand why. I mean, it was nice to have a little, a little break. But I was still bored. I found productive stuff to do. I always find productive stuff to do. But, when I get behind the camera and I talk about these shows, it's for all fun and games and it's like entertainment. So, I don't make it my life. And I hate people that feel like, oh, because you review a show or you watch a show, you make it your life. No, it's just something to talk about. So all of y'all who have something to say about us watching these shows, go sit, watch your basketball, watch your judge shows, watch your science fictions, because the same way that is for you, that's what it is for us. So if you don't understand it, don't try and understand it. Some things ain't there for you to understand. Anyway, so yeah. But the episode came back and it started where it left off. Remember, it left off with Scrap preparing for court and, hoping that his fate, hoping that him going to jail is not as bad as, he thinks in his mind, because for his sentence would be mandatory, I think minimum 5 years, maximum 30 years. That would be his sentence. Like, that's the estimate, So it's his court day. We see Tierra, Tommy, and Carly, their reactions to it. Tierra felt good, even though her and Scrap aren't on the same page. She felt good about letting their son spend time with him on his last day of possible freedom for a while. So we get to Tommy, and Tommy is like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Scrap is going, but he better hope that I'm still in the same headspace when he comes back, because things could change. And then here come Carly and her dramatics, Scrap is leaving. And I feel bad that somebody like him, who's a good friend, they're going away for a long time. Scrap, thank you for giving me your heart and your penis. I'll cherish it every day, until I move on to the next man who calls me pretty. Thank you, Scrap. Thank you for that little bit of dingling before you went away. Like that. Like, I'm like, Carly, just stop. Because every season you with the next dude. And it's like, you was just with, like, just every season she with a new dude. Like, okay, Antonio Reed, Benzino, Young Jock, Life, Scrap. And then I see that her and Life ain't even together no more. So it's like, who's next? Like, But anyway, so they go to court. KK dressed up like she going to a funeral. Whatever. Dramatics. So they go to court. And Scrap is like, I hope the judge is lenient on me. I hope he gives me, I hope he doesn't give me such a hard sentence. There's other crimes going on out here. Me getting arrested for a little bit of weed is not a big deal. And I'm like, okay. My whole thing with marijuana, it sucks that it's illegal in certain states, because I think now they're starting to legalize it, but it's like for medicinal purposes. It sucks that it's illegal, mostly because government can't profit off of it, so that's why it's illegal. Okay. And it sucks that people are going to jail for like years over stuff like something as small as marijuana. But you were doing marijuana trafficking. So from what I gathered, from what I understand, you had pounds of marijuana. So okay. You were going to make a business out of that. Yeah, you made a poor decision, but I think in the States, period, trafficking is frowned upon. Well, technically speaking, it is. Drug trafficking, marijuana trafficking, sex trafficking, all of that is frowned upon, because you're trying to do business in a legal way. It's not legal. You're trying to do it in an illegal way. You're trying to scheme, so it's the fact that it's, an illegal business running, and then it's like drugs, sex, like, it's an illegal way of making money, basically. So, you know, he's like, you know, Judge, I just want you to know, you know, I'm an upstanding guy. I have 2 boys that look up to me. You know, I'm in their life. I'm not a deadbeat. So I just hope you go easy on me. So the judge was like, okay, you know, I'm trying to be lenient. You know, the sentence is a minimum of 5 to 30 years. So I'm going to give you the minimum of 20 years. Now, when I first heard that, my heart sank. Because I'm like, oh, he going to have to be in jail for 20 years? God. But then I had to watch it again, and I'm like, oh, okay. Technically, well, basically, the judge told him that he would have to serve 5 of those 20 years behind bars. And then he would have 15 years probation. Plus, he would have to pay a $100,000 fine. So, when I first heard it, I was like, 20 years? Jeez. Like, you know, I'm thinking he's going to be in jail for 20 years. No. He has to serve 5 of those 20 years in jail, behind bars. So he does his time there, cool. He comes home, but he's on probation. So that means that he still has restrictions. Yeah, he may be free, but he may have to be in halfway house. He may be on house arrest. He probably can't leave the state of Georgia for 15 years. So, you know, even though you're on probation, you still have some restrictions. Like, your life is still not yours completely. So I was like, at first, my first reaction was like, dang, 20 years. But then I'm like, okay, he has to serve 5 behind bars. That's going to go by fast. Because, I mean, it has been like already, I think Apollo from Real Housewives of Atlanta, he got like, what, 6 years left? Mendices from Love and Hip Hop, he got what? Mendices got 8 years. He got like 7 years. Like, the years are going to fly by. They're going to fly by. They're going to do their time. They're going to be okay. And who knows? They're probably doing things in prison that'll help pass the time and that'll help better them. Like, look at Gucci Mane. I don't care for Gucci Mane, but Gucci Mane looked good after he got out of jail. And I never really looked at Gucci Mane like that. Like, he was never attractive to me. But he looks good. Like, you know, sometimes prison can help you like center your thoughts and change your mindset. So, I mean, I've recently seen videos of Scrap. I've recently seen pictures of him. You know, he looks like he's trying to hold his head or whatever, and he thanking the fans and whatnot. So, Scrap is going to be okay. He's going to, you know, if he holds on to his faith, he's going to come out of prison a better person. And he just needs to know not to make these mistakes again. So, it is what it is. So, now we get to Mimi and Stevie. First of all, Stevie walking around here doing the Ball Johnson dance with his robe on. Like, that's his house. And Mimi is like, dude, cover up. This is why I ain't even want to get involved with you, because you get too comfortable. And, you know, Stevie, you know, daddy's home. That ain't your house, bruh. That's Mimi's house. That ain't your house. Go back to your palace with Jocelyn. What happened to the palace? Oh, y'all was renting that? That wasn't really your house? That's what you're saying? Oh, okay. All right. We kind of figured that. Water is wet, like I always say. So, you know, Mimi is like, you too comfortable, dude. Like, I don't mind having you here, but I give you an inch and you take a friggin' mile. And I'm like, true. So Mimi is just over it. Like, Mimi is like, are we going to address the issues? Are we going to address the elephant in the room? Because you and Jocelyn got problems. You know, y'all married folk. Y'all need to get it together. You know, this ain't your house, dude. I'm just letting you crash here because we cool and all. So now we get to Betty Idol and Mama D. First of all, did anybody waste they dollar to download Betty Idol's song? I'm just asking. I mean, Betty Idol looked cute and all in her little spandex performing a song that's never gonna chart. Was that shade? Where my lemonade? I ain't got no more. Y'all, I gotta go food shopping. I ain't got no more lemonade. Y'all believe that? Because y'all know when I throw shade, I like to drink my lemonade. Y'all know that, right? And if you don't know it, I like to throw shade and drink my lemonade after I throw shade. I'm gonna go to the supermarket tomorrow and get me some lemonade, because this is some bull. I ain't got no lemonade here. I only got apple juice. That's because I'm taking iron pills and vitamin D pills and all that. That's why I gotta get me some lemonade tomorrow. I got y'all in the next few videos. Anytime I throw shade, I'm drinking my lemonade. We trademarking that. That's what we gonna do in these videos now. I'm a shade with my lemonade. Hashtag, that's me. You gonna see that on all my Instagrams and all. Off topic. I'm sorry, but you know, hey, YouTube is a business. This is how I market myself. Hashtag shade with my lemonade. Hashtag Tisha Denise. Me. But anyway, yeah, off topic. That was shade. And I wish I had my lemonade. But yeah, I don't like Betty Idol. I don't like her, and I don't like D. Smith. Betty Idol is annoying. Her voice is annoying. Her face is annoying. She talks like a ditzy blonde. Like she talks like she's blonde, and she's well, she looked like she's mixed with something, but she black. She's a pretty black girl, you know. But she just annoys me, and it's like her and D. Smith think that what they walk around doing is okay and it's right, and it's not. It's not. So Mama D comes to see her, and you know, of course, Mama D is scouting for chicks for Scrappy, and it's like, Mama D, ain't you married? Didn't you learn from Bambi? Didn't you learn from Erica Pinkett? Didn't you learn from Erica Dixon? Didn't you learn from Shay? Like, didn't you learn to mind your business by now? No. Okay. I guess. You know, I guess the king, he's not fulfilling his duties of keeping you occupied to stay out of Scrappy's business. Because last season, you wasn't in Scrappy's business at all because you was focused on your wedding and, you know, getting your boo thing back. But it's like now that you and him is on the outs, you just back in his business. But anyway, so they're basically discussing Scramby. Look at me, Scrappy and Bambi. And Mama D is like, you know, they're not even together, and Bambi is still, you know, she crossing the wrong daggone street. You know, she exiled from the palace. And, you know, I got problems with her. I don't know why she's still in the picture. I thought they moved on or whatever. So Betty is basically telling Mama D that Scrappy said he doesn't want to work with her anymore because of the fight that they had with Tammy. And Mama D she could understand that because, you know, Tammy, Deb, and Waka are, you know, close friends with her and Scrappy. And she can understand why Scrappy is defending Tammy and Waka. But what she didn't know is that Scrappy went on this rampage about the transgender community and basically stating, like, Betty showed her the video where he said that, you know, if I don't see no baby pictures of you, then I don't want to hear nothing. You are basically a man with a penis and a wig on, which is not, that's very offensive to say to the transgender community, because the LGBT community are already sensitive to the fact that people don't accept them, people don't deem them as normal already. So for you to point out their flaws and the stuff that they have to fight against every day, when you're an artist and you have a voice and you have a platform, you know, you're gonna have minions that follow you like, you right, the transgendered are weird, the transgendered they're not normal, you know, because that's what people do. People follow the leader, and for some reason these artists or whatnot are leaders. I mean, it's not for some reason. We look up to them because they speak for us. They're like, some of them are a voice for us. For those of us who can't speak, you know, we kind of live vicariously through them because they speak about our issues. But when you use your platform for ignorance, then you're gonna breed ignorance, you know? So Mama D is disappointed. She's like, I'm gonna have a talk with him because I did not raise him that way. I'm like, Mama D, you probably did raise him that way. I mean, you did used to be a pimp. Let's just put that out there. So moving on, Mimi and Stevie, they take this road trip. They take this road trip to North Carolina because that's what they discussed in the previous scene about meeting up with Promise B. May to find out the truth about the Stevie J babies or whatever. And first of all, he sleep in the car and she wake him up. She like, you drooling, you need to get up. So they're discussing Jocelyn briefly, and you know, Stevie admits there's no connection in the marriage of him. Pull your shirt down. Like, really? There's no connection between him and Jocelyn anymore. Like, they don't do anything. They don't have sex. They don't talk. They don't do nothing. They just avoid each other. And, you know, because he hasn't had sex in so long, he looking at Mimi like she a piece of meat, like, maybe I could tap that again. And it's like, Stevie, abort. I don't think Mimi's here for it. Y'all are friends. Don't ruin that. So now they get to Promise B. May's house. And her reaction when they rung the bell and she came to the door, she couldn't even fake pretend like she ain't know that they was coming. Because she came to the door and she looks and she's like she's surprised. And I'm like, from the moment I saw that, I'm like, oh yeah, this chick is, she bat-ish crazy. Like, she can't even act. She can't act. I already know this is scripted. She can't act. So, they get in there and Mimi is like, listen, I heard that you said that you had a baby by Stevie. First of all, Stevie walked in there and he's like, yo, I'm Stevie. She like, I know who you are. I'm like, well, if y'all had a baby together, I would hope that y'all know each other's name. So, you know, they sit down and Mimi is like, yes, well, we're here because we were told that you had a baby by him. Is the baby here? Like, what's going on? Or whatever. And you know, Promise is like, listen, that's for him to ask me. It's not for you. That's his place. That's not yours. And he's like, well, why are you making up all these lies? You defaming my character. And she's like, I didn't lie or something like that. And he was like, so where's this baby we got together? I've never met you before in my life. So she was like, oh, the baby is here. So then next thing you know, she's like, all right, there is no baby. And I'm sitting up here like, then why would you tell him that y'all got a baby together? Even after he asked you, you know, why you lied, you still talking about the baby is here. And then 2 seconds later, you're going to say that there is no baby? Like, so she's like, well, so Mimi is like, so why would you say you have a baby with him when you don't? And she's like, I just did it to get his attention, because it's like, now you could get famous off of anything. Kim K, sex tape. Mimi, sex tape. Your milk is over here somewhere. I don't know where you put it. It's over here somewhere. Look for it. You had it last. I don't know. So, I'm sitting up here like, so you did all of this to get his attention, to get him to work with you? So you really think in that jacked up brain of yours that if you lie on a dude and say that he has a baby by you, that he's gonna work with you? What kind? First of all, okay, I can understand nowadays you do anything. What, Nyla? Your milk is, you threw your cup on the floor somewhere. Look for your cup. I don't know where it's at. So basically, what annoys me with this is, okay, she has a little bit of, she's speaking a little bit of truth. People get famous off of sex tapes. All you really got to do nowadays is go viral. So yeah, you get famous off of nothing. What? I don't know where it's at, Nyla. Look for your cup. So, like I said, she has a point. You basically don't really have to showcase your talent to get famous anymore. You just got to go viral, and you just got to know the right person. But you should be the example. You should be the one that, if you feel like you have the talent, put some work in. Instead of making up lies about having a baby and basically ruining your chances. Like, I really think if you would have went about it a different way, maybe Stevie would have worked with you. But for you to lie on this man and say that you have a baby by him, you really think that he's going to work with you now? And he's like, listen, I ain't got no time for this. I'll see you later. We'll never work together. My business here is done. That's it. And like, basically, she was looking for a come up. She just, you know, and I mean, if she wanted to be on camera, she got her little 15 minutes of fame right there, because she will forever be known as the bat-ish crazy chick that was looking for a come up from Stevie J and lied about having his baby. Because that is some foolishness right there. I was just looking at her. And then, where was the hair and the makeup team? Why was she sweating so much, y'all? Y'all couldn't get her some tissue. Y'all couldn't pat her face real quick. Like, she was sweating. Like, she was sitting on Satan's throne. She was sweating so much. I'm like, yo, this chick, yeah, she was crazy. We get to Scrappy and Mama D meeting up. And Scrappy basically is defending his comment. He doesn't feel like he was wrong in anything he said about the transgender. He basically said that he wasn't saying that to be rude or disrespectful to the transgender community. He's saying it to the people who are transgender and they're lying about their background. They're lying about their truth, which is understandable, but he could have said it a better way because that was completely disrespectful. But I get it. There's people out here who are transgender. They're lying. They're fooling men, and that's not why transgenders are. That may be one reason why, but there's a lot of people who are dying that are within the LGBT community, specifically the transgender community, who are being killed for telling their truth or lying, you know, regardless, because people don't agree with their lifestyle, as people put it, which is really not a lifestyle. It's who they are within. You know, so because people don't agree with it, they feel like it's okay to just murder them and forget them. And it's not right. It's not right at all. So, I mean, like I said, Scrappy could have gotten his message out in a less ignorant way because it was very ignorant of him. It was very nignorant, you know, of him to say. So Mama D is ashamed. And she's like, I didn't raise you that way. I didn't raise you to judge. And he's like, you actually did raise me to be this way. And I'm like, well, Mama D, there you go. You ain't mother of the year like you thought you were. So he's like, I'm not ashamed of what I said. I said what I said and I stand by it. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I was just saying the truth. The ones that are hiding and lying about their past are the ones that I have the problem with. It's not the whole it's not the community as a whole. It's the ones who are lying to themselves. And I'm like, I get where he's coming from and I get Mama D's frustration, but what can you do? So now we get to Jocelyn and Don. Now I had already saw this clip on Facebook before it aired and I about died. Jocelyn is, I'd say she's number 2 on the petty list, right underneath Black China. Right? Oh, if there's a petty queen list, Jocelyn would be petty queen number 2, because we all know Black China is petty queen number 1. If you don't know who Black China is, Google her. If you live under a rock and you don't know who Black China is and why she's petty queen number 1, Google her. But yeah, so Jocelyn is with Dawn and she's basically like, okay, since Mimi is such a fool and will believe anything somebody tells her, you know, I put on my acting skills and I basically told Mimi that Stevie got babies out here and he ain't got no babies. But I did it so that Mimi would be able to put him on child support. Mimi doesn't have him on child support. So I did it so that Mimi could put him on child support and, you know, basically wipe his bank clean. And then the fact that he's no longer my manager, he's going to come crawling back to me and want to work for me. I'm going to just make sure that she's like, the best way to hurt a man that hurts you is to hit his pockets. So I'm going to hit Stevie where it hurts and I'm going to hit his pockets. So I'm going to lie and say that he got babies out here that he don't have. And I was like, Jocelyn, you petty. You petty and you're evil, like Carly Fred said. I'm like, dang, girl. So I'm like, I don't know how Mimi is gonna deal with this when I don't even know how Mimi would even confront this after finding out that none of it was true. And it seems like around the same time that she found out that it wasn't true, that's when Jocelyn revealed, yeah, it wasn't true. I'm just trying to hurt his pockets and get my hustle on without him. And I'm just sitting up here. And then on top, Don is not going to take your career to the next level. Put it back. Why do I have to keep talking to you? Don is not going to take your career to the next level. Don is a hanger-on to me. That's what she is. Because it's like, what has she accomplished? Don is a hanger-on. She just wants to be in the mix. She just wants to be, you know, seen. I don't feel like Don is management material. like, Dawn is not on the level of, I'd say, like, Yandy. Like, Yandy, you know, she's actually managed people. I don't think that Dawn is a booking agent. So booking agents basically book shows and book performances. That's about it. But management material, no. Dawn just, it just seems like Dawn is a hanger-on, you know? Like, she just flows wherever the trending topic is because, you know, last season, because Stevie and Jocelyn were on the outs with you, you went and you flowed towards Mimi. And then you tried to get Dom from up under Mimi and manage Dom. And then it didn't work out that way. So now that Stevie J and Jocelyn are on the outs, now you're back to being best friends with Jocelyn. Like, she just flow wherever the trending topic is. That's basically it. So now we at Scrappy doing his performance with Bobby V called Sucker for Love. And he invited Betty, and Betty, of course, invited D. Smith. So Scrappy, you know, he invited Betty to, like, clear the air or whatever, but he already knew he was walking into a lion's den by inviting Betty and then knowing that she's going to invite D. Smith. So he's like, all right, let's just get this over with. Let's just talk about it. So, of course, D. Smith is upset about his comment, and she feels like they came across as homophobic. And you know, Scrappy is like, listen, I basically stand by what I said, and it was basically directed towards people who are lying about being transgender and not speaking the truth. And she's like, yeah, but it came off as homophobic. Like, your message wasn't clear. It was very disrespectful, and I don't agree with it. And I'm like, okay, D. Smith, listen, I understand you want to be... First of all, D. Smith is not even that great of an example of somebody who should be an advocate for the LGBT community because she's very petty. And, like, B. Scott or Laverne Cox, like, I see them as the ones, like, that are, like, more so good representations of the LGBT community because there's always positivity with them. D. Smith, every episode, it's like she never has anything positive to say. And it's like, you can't sit up here and be upset and feel like people are bullying you when you're a bully yourself. You can't bully people into having the same opinion as you. If we all had the same opinions and likes and views or whatever, this would be a boring world. So you have to understand that there are people out there that don't agree with you, and there are people out there who will agree to disagree with you. You can't go around beating up people for not having the same beliefs as you do. Like, it doesn't work that way. So you just have to deal with it. If you and Scrappy don't agree, just agree to disagree like two grown people and go your separate ways. Y'all ain't got to rock in the same circles. Y'all ain't got to do nothing together. But, you know, D. Smith feels like, leave it alone. Leave it alone. D. Smith feels like Scrappy and her can come together and end the hate or whatever. And, you know, she was just basically like, listen, I didn't get an apology from Scrappy, but I do respect him for explaining himself and, you know, even having the guts to even say anything pertaining to it or whatever. And I just feel like, but you shouldn't feel like you don't have to respect him because y'all don't share the same opinion. You know, it's whatever. Just, me personally, I just feel like D. Smith is just a bit of a hypocrite. And I don't like her. I don't like her attitude. That's basically it. So, now we get to Mimi and Rashida. And Mimi is explaining her living situation with Stevie to Rashida. And Rashida feels like Mimi should just leave it alone. Like, she's involving herself in some drama that she don't need to be involved in. And Mimi explains to Rashida that she found out the truth about what Jocelyn's evil plan or whatever. And Rashida just basically wants Mimi to have boundaries because she feels like Stevie and Jocelyn are manipulating her yet again, which they are, more so Jocelyn than Stevie. So, you know, Rashida is like, I know that they're on the outs, but don't get yourself involved in that because some drama is about to hit the fan. So she's like, have you seen the vlogs? And Mimi's like, no. She shows Mimi a picture of Jocelyn, and this is the picture that is so, like, infamous right now. I don't get why, because it ain't that serious and it ain't that deep. Jocelyn took a picture with Rick Ross, Monica, and somebody else. I forgot who it was. and she's standing like a little close to Rick Ross. You know, Rick Ross kind of got his hand on her thigh, her hip or whatever. And I'm like, okay, it's just them taking a picture together. I don't see, you know, they making a big deal about it, talking about some, you know, oh, he got his hand close to her cootie cat that she's so stingy about. And I'm like, people can't just take pictures with people and, you know, have without the millions of assumptions or whatever. But that's what it is. And I'm just like, to me, the picture wasn't that big of a deal. And it basically looked like it was a way for Jocelyn to get back at Stevie, but it was kind of a fail because it seemed like Stevie didn't really care. I don't know. So, you know, Mimi is like, I may have to talk to Jocelyn. I got to confront Jocelyn. And I'm like, Mimi, just leave it alone. So now we get to Stevie, and he's doing a radio interview at Hot. Is it Hot 107.9 or Power 107? I think it's Hot 107. I don't know. The radio station in Georgia. Y'all know it. In Georgia, y'all know it. So, Stevie, he's with his business partner, Miss Jackson. And he basically discusses the drama between him and Jocelyn. And they ask about the picture, and he's basically like, ain't no wife of mine gonna go out there taking no picture with no next man like that. You know, that's the last straw for me. Like, she came back from LA just, you know, with a vengeance, like spilling secrets and doing stuff to get my attention, doing stuff to piss me off. So that picture was the last straw for me. So, you know, of course they asked him, like, listen. Yeah, of course they asked him, well, we want to know, you know, since you being for real and you telling everything, you spilling on the beans, were you and Jocelyn ever married? So Stevie is like, no, we were never married. And they were like, well, there you have it. And it basically ended there. First of all, we already knew, we already knew that Stevie and Jocelyn were never married. Because how are you married and you can't remember your wedding date? 1 minute is July 29th. The next minute is June 29th. The next minute is December 29th. The next minute is May 29th. Y'all don't know y'all wedding date. Okay? And then every single time you can tell that Jocelyn, you can tell that they weren't really married because every 5 seconds Jocelyn was my husband, my husband, my husband, my husband. I love my husband, my husband. If you married, you ain't gotta say my husband every 12 seconds. We know that's your husband. So again, water is wet. We already knew that they weren't married. So we're going to see how it plays out the next episode. This episode was a hot mess. It was a hot mess. And I guess next episode going to be a hot mess too. This season is just a hot mess. But y'all let me know how y'all felt about it. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Mwah.